Hello everyone. Today let's look at how to make this simple yet slightly spooky bullet journal layout for October. So the first thing I'm going to grab are these Pentel Touch brush pens. I really prefer them over the Tombow Fudenosuke for doing lettering in my bullet journal. I feel like they're much more easy to control. The next thing we're going to grab is the Crayola Super Tips. I have put tape on mine so I can number them because it drives me crazy trying to look at the cap, because I don't think the cap on the Super Tips matches the actual color very well. So I'm just going to pull out some shades of yellow, orange, gray, and black here. The next thing I'm going to grab are some Tombow dual tip brush pens. I really like the felt tip for doing line work for this kind of a spread because I don't really need like a fine liner like a micron or anything, but the Tombow bullet tip is like the perfect thickness for doing this kind of the kind of artwork that I'm doing with this. And then the last thing I'm going to grab today is my FineTec Pearlescent Watercolor paints. I believe they've changed their names to Coloro, but I got them while they were still FineTec. So there's everything I plan to use for this bullet journal setup, and a Posca pen because it's always good to have white highlights. I'm going to speed up for the rest of this. The first thing I do when I'm doing a new monthly spread in my bullet journal is to get a piece of washi tape that's going to go with the spread and use that to make a bookmark sort of thing so that I can easily find each month. So that's what I'm doing here. And then you saw my September reflections page, which I hadn't filled out yet. And on this page I already have a sort of sketch, which I had done a really terrible circle, which I'm now erasing. And I'm using this little circle device to do the outline of the full moon that's going to be behind the castle. So my first idea was to do that full moon using the pearlescent watercolors. So I'm picking up this coppery paint and trying to just put it down. You saw me pre-wet the paper, but then I really didn't like how that was looking, and so wasn't too happy with the way that came out. It just wasn't looking the way I wanted it to. At this point I pulled out the Super Tips and I went over the damp paper, and that made the Super Tips, since they're water-based, they sort of spread out and sort of got sort of paint looking, and I liked that a lot better. I liked the more well, it was darker for one thing, and I liked the way I had the ability with the Super Tips on top of the pearlescent watercolor to give it a more textured sort of look. At this point I started coloring in the windows on the castle because I plan to do the castle in black, and we all know that you can do black on top of yellow but not yellow on top of black. So yeah, I did the yellow part first, and then I started doing the outlines with the bullet tip on the Tombow dual brush pen just so I could see or just so I could delineate the various parts of the castle while I'm coloring them in. And now I'm using, once again, using the bullet tip on the Tombow dual brush pen. I think it's the ivory black color. I don't remember. It's the blackest color. And I'm making the tree. I had so much fun doing this tree with its little crooked branches. And I tried to make it a little bit symmetrical, not too much because it is supposed to be a spooky tree. And I colored the path in gray, even though probably silhouetted you wouldn't be able to see the path either, but I just wanted to distinguish it from the castle a bit. And then I colored the castle. I thought about coloring the castle roofs gray, which you can see one of them still gray there, but then I decided not to do that because of the silhouette aspect, and instead go back in with my Posca pen to emphasize the different areas of the castle. And when I drew that hill, I just sort of let my hand be a little bit shaky so that the hill wouldn't be too perfect looking or even or anything like that, so it'd look more like it was sort of a natural stone hill or mountain or whatever it is that this castle is sitting on from our perspective. And here's where I started just coloring in the silhouette of the hill and the ground. I had thought about putting some tombstones over in this area, but I thought it was getting too busy, so I didn't do that. And I just lettered the word October there along the base of the tree. I'm using the bullet tip of the Tombow again. And then the part of the T and the O that are on the tree, I come back with my Posca pen and do that part in white so it stands out. It's a little hard to tell from here, but it looks pretty cool in person. And then I'm going to put my mini calendar in. I had to check and see when October started. It's about to start. I should know better. Every month I have a mini calendar in there, and I just sort of highlight events as they get added to the month. And I just fit that one in under the tree. This is this lettering that I use for events and to do every month, and I just colored that in with one of the Tombows. So I don't know if you can see this exactly, but you saw where I put the metallic paint down and then didn't like it, so put the super tip on top of it. But the metallic paint is still showing through, and I think it looks really cool. I don't know if the camera's really picking it up or not. But yeah, it looks pretty awesome. So here's how I mark events on this little calendar that I put on each of my monthly spread. I haven't written them over here yet because there are some people's private information, but yeah, so that's how I do events, and I just keep highlighting as the month goes along. These are all birthdays, so I already know that they're where they are. Here's one last look at my October spread. I'm really pleased with how it came out. I like the stylized tree, and I like the basically simple graphics. Thanks for watching. Click like if you liked this one. Click subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. And as always, don't be afraid to take a left. Bye.